I'm back here again with another cel shaded figure. I've already done Storm. I've gone through and removed everything, and we're gonna go ahead and do it again with Wolverine this time. This one, I think, was the second of the cel shaded figures to come out, either first or second, and it's a good figure. The head is actually pretty unique to this Wolverine. The ears are actually really wide, and so for some people, you might like this version but may not like the cel shading. So I'm going to go through how we can remove that. Right off the bat, we're going to use acetone like I did the last time. This is actually the same bottle from before, and this time I'm actually going to dilute it a bit with water. A commenter had recommended doing this so that it's not as strong, and that way less of a chance of accidentally melting something. And then otherwise, we'll just get started. So I want to go ahead and just start with the easy parts. And so for me, I think the easy parts are going to be the legs and probably the head. And then the harder parts are going to be the parts that are closer to where it's meeting with other paint. So let's focus on the legs first. So I've got my brushes, I've got my acetone that's diluted with water, and I am gonna just, the thing about this is that the boot is black already and the blue is painted on. The leg is yellow and this brown cel shading is painted on. So even if I brush here, it shouldn't make any difference because there's no black to rub off since the plastic itself is black. Okay, so diluting it, at least with this, didn't work the way I was expecting it to. So we're just gonna go straight pure acetone. And we're gonna go back with the method I used the first time, which was to dip the figure into the water as needed. All right. Let's just go ahead and try the other leg. So I was wrong. The boots are actually blue in color and have the black painted on. I'm surprised. I made the assumption that it was black to begin with, just because, it's just kind of a standard thing. And I thought that it would have been easier to just paint the blue on, but that's wrong. So you can actually kind of see that if it comes out, you can kind of see it right there. You can see it right there where some of the black came off. So a thing to keep in mind, in that case, it might even be better to pop off the boots from the legs before you do this, just to make it much easier on yourself. All right, so while the water heats up, let's see about taking apart some of the other things that we can work on right now. So taking off the shoulder pads, those are easy. We'll just take off the gloves or the hands. There's no reason for those to be on at all. And I guess we could even work on the head. So I know I made an assumption about the boots, but I feel pretty confident about the head because you can see how the head is actually made of 2 or more pieces. One being the actual like face, and then this part. So you can actually see that there's 2 joined pieces. And so I'm pretty sure that we should be able to just take that part out and not worry about the black on that side. Let's hope I'm right. So that one was easily the easiest one of all so far. So we'll just go ahead and do the other head real quick. Here we have the head. You can see the cel shading. There you go. Cel shading gone. Cool. Heads are done. Let's go ahead and take a look at these shoulder pads. Cool. Got it. So you can see, you can compare 2 sides, got all of it off on that left side. And all it takes is just that acetone. So that's pretty perfect looking, I would say. So that piece is done, and I'll work on the other shoulder piece in a second, but we have some boots to pop off. So we have hot water. All right, so this should be the same technique that I've used in other videos where I show you how to pop off the arms from Thor. So we're just gonna let it sit and soak for a bit. Come on, oh, there we go, that's one. It's 2. Okay, so we're gonna tackle the legs again. This time we're gonna finish that, which should be really easy now that we have full access with no boot in the way. That leg is pretty much done. There's a tiny bit left, but I'm not too worried about that. I could always go back and get it if I really need to. But now we've got the other leg. This one, same process. So the process now that I'm pretty settled on so far is going to be pure acetone to start brushing off. Once you have it on your brush, you're going to brush it against the paper towel, and then you can go back and do more, because if you reintroduce your brush back into the acetone, it'll dilute it with some of the paint that you just got off. And so I think this is the best way. And then as you get off as much as you can and want, then you're going to dip in the water, dry it off, and keep going. And so dipping in the water will mean that the acetone is no longer on there, no longer sitting, so that there's less of a chance for it to cause any melting. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go over a little bit more. Fortunately, this color that I'm pulling off is actually really strong, so it's kind of getting down into my acetone. That's okay. Okay, so we're at a point where I got pretty much the legs taken care of, and it's a little bit not so perfect, but I think all of that will clean up real good once I heat everything back up and get it all put back together. So the things that we need to focus on now are really the torso, because the rest of the pieces are done, except let's just finish. We do actually have one shoulder pad left. And here's the comparison between the two shoulder pads. So we'll just finish this one right now. This one should be fairly easy. Okay, now both shoulder pads are completely done. So with this, we are going to try using these pointy Q-tips, or cotton swabs rather. And these ones I got from Miniso, but I'm sure you should be able to find these at most places that sell cotton swabs. So look for these sharper ones, because I think that this will make it easier to target certain spots. So my goal is to use this specifically to target here, and then here, and then hopefully that just comes off nice and easy. So just gonna soak it in the cotton swab. I'm gonna go at it. coming off. You see I didn't hit the black too bad. Still a little bit left, so I'm gonna clean that up right now. And just so you can see, the tip is definitely covered with all the paint that I just removed. So now I'm just gonna use this side just to finish the cleanup. And there you go. Just again, we just focus on that one just for now. But I'm gonna go ahead and maybe I'm gonna try for that one right now. And that one I'm just gonna use the brush like I did on everything else, just because there's not a lot of paint right there that I'm worried about touching, other than the paint that I'm trying to remove. Don't forget to dip it in the water as you do it so that you don't have it just sitting in there and letting it melt the plastic. Okay, it's looking better. I'm gonna go ahead and use a fresh swab, and I'm gonna tackle this part of it now. And I'm gonna tackle this part of it now. Like I said, I'm gonna start there to try to get as clean of a removal as I can with the tip. That's the point of the tip. And then the big parts can be cleaned with kind of whatever. So I fudged the black line myself. If I wasn't recording, I could look directly at this and it'd be a lot easier to do, but obviously I'm trying to show you so that you can do it yourself. But I think that came out pretty good. Let's see if it shows. It doesn't show so great. Actually, it kind of shows right here. You can see where I removed it. So I just went right against that just to try to get it out. Now, like I said, I'm going to clean up the rest. I'm just going to use the other side. Make it easy on myself. Great. I actually think that looks pretty good. That came out really well from that shoulder neck part. Then we got this part here, and then where the tiger stripes are. Because the hardest part is going to be getting in between here, I'm going to try to do that first. And you can see I got it removed from that first one. Did hit the black a little bit, but it's not too bad. So you can do a comparison shot between the right side over here and then the left side, which I've not touched yet. You can see it's all been removed fairly well, I feel like. And we'll just finish up that side and then we'll pretty much be done. All right, actually, so the last parts are the gloves. And here's something that I want to try because what I believe to be true is that the gloved part around the forearm is just painted on the white flesh, right? And you can kind of see it through the peg where the hand goes, that it's flesh colored in there. But then I think that the cel shading is just painted on top. So I'm actually going to try just using the same technique and just going light over the cel shading to see if I can remove it without also removing the other blue, the lighter blue. Did not quite work the way I wanted it. It sort of did at first, but then I just kind of went heavy-handed on it, and that's my own fault. But I'm gonna try it again on the second one, and I'm gonna try to be a little bit more calm about it this time and see if I can make it work. And if not, then that's okay. I've got some paint that I can use that's a pretty close match. So, I mean, I'm right that the cel shaded blue is just painted right on top, but I don't think it's worth the effort to try to remove it that way. So I would say if you're doing this, either paint over it or just leave it as is. But I'm going to use a bit of paint that I already have. So I have this, and I actually bought this to use with Jean Grey, which I've not done yet as of right now. But I believe this should be a fairly close blue for what I'm wanting to try. So okay, missed the belt, so we'll just do the belt real quick. That's just an easy. Done. Okay, so here we are. Wolverine Cel shaded. I don't know how well that comes off on screen, but there's some like white here and up here, a little bit over here, and I'm pretty sure that came from me letting acetone kind of pool for just a little bit too long. And so I think had I not done that, then it would have been fine. Again, maybe it comes off on screen just fine, but in real life, there's a bit of white there, kind of a milky white. And so if anything, I'll probably try to find some yellow to match it and just go over it so it blends back up. This blue actually came out much better than I thought. It definitely needs a coat or two, but the paint matching is actually surprisingly really good on that. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it ended up being, just because it came out pretty light when it was still wet. So really, what are the takeaways of all of this? This is my second one now, and I would say there's a couple things. So first would be, if you can take it apart, take it apart. That'll make everything a lot easier. So if you're going to take it apart, you're going to need boiling water. You're going to need boiling water or a heat gun in order to heat up and pop apart. That'll make things a lot easier. The second thing would be using a paintbrush along with the acetone, and or using these pointed cotton swabs. This goes a long way too. If you want to just use these instead of a paintbrush, I think that should be totally fine too. It just means that you'll end up throwing a bunch of these away, but I think it should be highly effective to do that as well. The other thing is that if you are using a paintbrush, or if you are using the cotton swab, to go quick. Try not to let any of the acetone pool or sit for too long on the plastic itself. If you are using the paintbrush method, then having a bowl with water on hand to dip it into to basically neutralize the acetone as soon as you're done getting where you want to go makes a big difference. And so that, I think, would have made this go a lot better. I think it still came out pretty good overall, considering this is, again, only my second time ever doing something like this, and I'm not going off of really anybody's instructions. The other thing is that the diluting of the acetone didn't really work. If there's a weaker version of acetone that I could use, I would be open to trying that. If you guys are aware of any, definitely let me know. Otherwise, if you guys want to see how I did on Storm, then check out my video over here.